well, basically everybody's in. We are full. I had no idea we had balconies up here. This is fantastic. How do you guys like being in the West End? Amazing. I know you all want me to shut up and go ahead and go. We have 3 incredibly wonderful guests with us today. And some of you know that I've waited on this panel for 7 years. Without any further delay, because I know we're already starting late, let me go ahead and introduce David Nickel. That was a fabulous panel. Thank you. Oh, he's coming back. Please come by. Right there. And I'm gonna do this.
Oh,
well, okay. Amanda Tapping. And Christopher, please tell me I'm saying this right. Heyerdahl.
Hello, Atlanta.
That was wet. On my side, it was more like drool, I thought. Is this mic on?
Hello,
Is this mic on?
Hunter.
Is this mic on?
First question.
What will happen if I dip it in the water?
I can move to the next seat.
Well, hello, everybody.
How you guys doing?
I get all nervous because I was looking down the side there about 10 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, man, nobody showed up for the panel. Seriously, I panicked, and I was like,
Oh my gosh. I didn't even...
Yeah, there's balconies.
And then I poked my head out because my friend Jill said, no, honey, it's okay. There's people. There's other people. And, hello.
And the upstairs.
Yes, they will come from everywhere.
Thanks.
If Amanda's here, they will come.
Place.
That's why I'm here. I heard Christopher Heyerdahl was coming up. I was... Amanda Tapping? I'll go.
Chris who? That's a good idea.
Bald guy on some show.
Yeah, he's some bald guy. I don't know.
We love you too, Chris!
Oh, I love you as well.
I love you, David Nickel.
David's been with us before, but you two have not. What do you think of Dragon Con so far?
Awesome.
Pretty
wild, eh?
Yeah.
It's one of those, it's a huge con, but it feels really intimate. And I don't think I've ever been to a convention, aside from like the little ones that I do in England, that where everyone's so happy. You know, sometimes people are kind of...
It's the medication.
It's the medication. They're pumping something into the air here, because it's the alcohol, okay.
Caffeine and sugar.
Everyone's so joyful and
It's true, isn't
it's
it?
a very cool atmosphere here. It's very
It's the biggest little con in the world.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hey, somebody coined
Is
that.
this really your first time, Amanda?
This is my first time. I'm a Dragon Con virgin.
So am I.
Like lost
you've
little
all-
lambs in the woods.
You've all been so gentle and generous. Thank you.
I don't know why I'm up here.
I went for a walk last night. Yeah, guys. I went for a walk last night at about from about 11:30 to 1:30.
Which direction?
And that's an adventure. That was a lot of fun. And every hotel seems to have a different vibe going on.
very much.
Yeah. Yeah. We walked from the Hilton into the Marriott, into the Hyatt, and it was like going deeper and deeper into the den of a Bacchanalian feast.
And there's these bridges now between them. And I think they're losing fans crossing the street. Built bridges.
Some people were blending into the forest. It was good.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Do we have our wireless mics out there already? Do I have my 2 volunteers, or?
Yeah,
Oh, you've got them.
I want one. I want one.
Can I have
This is going to go down in Dragon Con history as the panel Jen lost.
Now it works.
Chris, do your best Oprah.
I got the best seat in the house now.
I needed young, beautiful eyes to help me out there. Do you have a question?
Can we have a question?
Seeing as you good? You good? I know you're good.
Chris, I got one over here.
If you guys wanted to roam around con unknown to everyone, what would you dress up as?
Do you know what a friend of mine just recommended? Pierre Bernard said to me, you could get around the con if you wore an Amanda Tapping mask. And I was like, for sure, because no one would think that Amanda Tapping would wear an Amanda Tapping mask. That's what I'm doing next year.
That's what I've been doing.
I'd go as a female stormtrooper.
How do you tell them?
I get so much action.
How do you tell them apart?
This question's for Amanda. What do you think is Sam Carter's greatest legacy?
Her greatest legacy? Well, the fact that she helped get the Stargate program up and running.
And then the rest of us had to maintain it.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Until I came back and showed you how it was done, right?
Yeah, but you did it without an accent.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think Sam Carter, the character, as an amazing role model for young women and just being a powerful and yet feminine character.
Yeah.
For sure. I think she was, there was a few women in science fiction at the time that had that sort of combination of smarts and, the ability to handle a gun. Yeah, so I think that for sure. Thank you.
Hi, first, thanks for bringing me the microphone because I can hardly talk. I have a question for everybody, so we're gonna get answers from all over the room here. What is y'all's favorite part of being in Stargate, and why was it your favorite part of being on the show?
Well, coming to things like this.
Right? It really is meeting the fans from like all 4 corners of the world. The phenomenon of Stargate and its worldwide appeal it just blows me away. And the creativity of the fans, everything that is done in addition to what the show brought. I mean, the creativity of you guys is phenomenal. I've never seen that anywhere else. So how about you guys?
So as you guys roam the hotels at night, what is the strangest thing that you've seen?
In alphabetical order or in order of importance?
Chris.
Yeah, me?
You did the late night walk.
Yeah, I did. I went to the top of the Marriott, which looks like the inside of a whale hive, really. And we looked down I don't know how many stories, and it was this pulsing sea of cleavage and
I think
all
Chris,
these-
you're standing beside that right now.
well. And they followed me into the daytime.
The costumes, the overwhelmingness of it all.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
I don't know. I went to a baseball game last night, so I didn't wander around the con as much as I should have, and I will rectify that situation this evening. The costumes blow my mind.
Yeah.
But it's also that there's this mass of people, and it just seems to move like a river, like everything seems to flow.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, really? That has not been my experience yet, although I have met people who have been locked on the breezeway for half an hour at a time between hotels. That little...
Yeah, the habit trail.
Yeah.
We have one over here.
Okay, does Dr. Zelinka, do you realize what a sex symbol you are? First of all, I want you to... That is not my question, though. That just had to be said. No, shallow question. Sam Carter, who would you have liked to have ended up with at the end of Stargate?
Well, given the first part of this question,
You just made my answer far more difficult.
Palette from revisions, I think.
The obvious answer, of course, for Sam is Jack. And I don't think I would have minded playing out those beats either. The less obvious answer would be, Teal'c. So we'll go with Jack, shall we?
Hi, this is a question for all three of you. How did you get started in acting? And then following up, how was your audition for the Stargate series? And what was that involved?
Amanda?
Okay. I got started in acting out of the womb. No, I remember my first professional play was a show called The Lion in Winter. And my father actually took me to the audition because he knew how desperately I wanted to be an actor. And I think I was 17 or 18, and he said, I'm going to take you to this audition, and you'll see what it's really like out there in the real world. The hope being, of course, that I wouldn't get the part, and I'd feel the rejection, and then I would give up this crazy notion of being an actor. And 2 days later, I got the phone call that I'd got the part. And I was skipping around the kitchen while my father, head in hands, went, oh, big mistake. So that's really how my first professional gig. And then I went to theater school and, did a bunch of commercials and smaller parts on TV shows and slowly built up. And then, so when I auditioned for Stargate, I auditioned in Toronto, and I put myself on tape with a casting director with, hundreds and hundreds of other women, and walked out of there for the first time ever not worrying about the audition, because I thought, it's gonna go to an American. I'm not gonna get this part, so let that one go. And then shortly thereafter, I got told that I was like one of 8 in North America who had been whittled down to, and could I send a demo reel and any other materials on myself? So I did, and then it was down to 3 of us, and I was flown to Los Angeles, put up in this incredibly fancy hotel in Santa Monica, met Michael Shanks, and crazy, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard this story before, but there was like 3 women for Sam Carter, 3 Daniels, a couple of Teal'cs, a couple of General Hammonds. They had us all in the room together. Just this, at MGM. It was this crazy environment, so we're all kind of like, hey. And then we all went in and auditioned, and then they said, if we read your name, thank you so much for coming, but we won't be needing you any further today. And if we don't read your name, please stick around. So of course you're sitting there, please don't say my name, please don't say my name. And then the casting director reads out all these names, and then these people shuffle off, and you're sitting there, and I was like, did they hear, did you hear my name? Did you hear my, I didn't hear your name. All panicked. But interestingly, at that audition, Michael and Christopher and I started to hang out. We were sitting in this crazy waiting room, and the three of us just got to talking, and I was the last person to go in on the second round of auditions, and it was for MGM and Showtime, which was the network at the time, on stage with Richard Dean Anderson. It was like a play. I'm making this story way too long, and I apologize, but it was cool. No. So we did all these scenes, and after the first round, Brad Wright came up to me and he said, "You're really funny. What you're doing in between the scenes where you're joking around with Richard, keep doing that." So I was like, okay, great. So we did this whole audition thing again, did all the scenes, and then at the end they said, "Could we have you two stand beside each other?" And Rick, I'm like, and Rick put his arm around me. So I was like, put my arm around his waist, and to this sea of black, like you couldn't see any of the people in the audience because they blackened the entire audience. And I said, "So is this like the swimsuit part of the competition?" And then they said, "Thank you very much." I was like, and Michael, bless his heart, waited for me, and the two of us took a cab back to the hotel together, and we're in the lobby, we gave each other a hug and said, "Hey, hopefully we'll see you in Vancouver." "Yeah, okay, see you later." And then the rest, as they say,
is history.
It is. Yeah. So it was pretty, but I was the last person to find out that I got the part. I think it was, the producers wanted me and the network, or the studio wanted someone else, and it was this big fight, and I went, phew, that's all I can say. David?
Amanda? Atlantis was already shot its pilot. I wasn't in the pilot. They brought me into an episode called 38 Minutes, which I think was the second or third one, and they were looking for a Russian doctor. Dr. Karpov which was on the breakdown. And I came into the room. It was the casting trailers at the bridge, those ATCO trailers there, and there's just a bunch of big burly Russian guys there, and me, it was the scene where I'm with Weir and I'm saying, "Don't talk to me, please," that one. And that was the scene that we did, and it was, I don't know, what I think happened is that I chose to do it up rather than down so they could see my face. And the director at that time was Mario Azzopardi. He was the, I guess. Mario Azzopardi. Rasputin. And that started, and the day that I was shooting the scene, Brad Wright was on set, and he says, "Well, we're looking for this kind of a character," and it sort of built slowly from there. So that's how I got into the Stargate franchise.
Well, for me, it was about kind of the same thing. I walked in to an audition, walked onto the Bridge Studios, which is, I don't know if you guys have tried to bust your way into the Bridge Studios, but it can be difficult. Some people have succeeded, but anyway, I got in and went into the same kind of trailer, and it was sitting behind the desk in this tiny little space. You walk in through a door, and there's about 5 other guys sitting there, their resumes, and they're all... "You're too skinny to get this part, man." And so, we all start flexing whatever we got to flex, and walk in through this little antechamber and through into this other tiny little room. And sitting behind the desk was Martin Wood. And and we'd never met before. And I gave the resume, introduced myself. You have a little X I have to stand on, and stood there. Said my words, and we just started chatting, and about 2 hours later my agent got a call, said, "You got the part," and that was for Palin and revisions, and because of that I ended up meeting Amanda, and it turned out we were neighbors. The three of us, Martin, Amanda, and I, were neighbors. We didn't know that at the time. We found that out through chatting. Anyway, long story short, I ended up doing Sanctuary and doing Atlantis, and so yeah, it was a wonderful day.
Question.
This question's for Todd. In a Michael v. Todd SmackDown, what would happen?
If what? If
In
what?
a Michael v. Todd SmackDown, what do you think would happen?
Oh, that's easy. Michael would be smacked down.
This question is actually for you, Chris. So you've done Stargate, you've also done, Sanctuary. We asked yesterday at the Sanctuary panel, Amanda, which one she preferred, but which one did you prefer?
Well, because I did Sanctuary or I did Stargate. Well, that is a hard one because they're so connected. And like I say, if I didn't do Stargate, I wouldn't be doing Atlantis. If I wasn't doing Stargate, I wouldn't be doing Sanctuary. So they're all one. And the great thing is that I think we said too in the panel that a lot of the same crew was working together. So it really is one big schmaltzy dysfunctional family, and we have a great time working together. So there really is no favorite. Yeah, cool.
My question is for Amanda. Nice shirt, by the way. While the Furlings were sort of introduced in the series, was there ever any talk by the writers for SG1 to actually meet the Furlings?
There was sort of the big tease all the time, right? Whether or not we would meet them. And it wasn't until was it the 200th or 100th? You guys know better than I do. That one show wherein we did, kind of. But it was kind of like a big tease, and we just kept going, please can we meet them, please can we meet them? So finally it was like that ultra special episode where they said, okay.
After that catch, it's you, man.
Appreciate it. I guess since Lincoln gave me such a good throw, was the Russian sort of rant banters that you would go on during Atlantis, did you know what you were saying? Did you make it up? Like, what was that? You gotta throw that back
now. The banter was in Czech. And I am Czech. I speak the language. We speak it at home with my family. I was born in Prague, but I grew up on the west coast of Canada, which is why I don't have the accent in real life. Yeah, once they found out that I could speak Czech, they just put in parentheses, curses in Czech. So I've been teaching the world how to cuss in Czech, one episode at a time. Here's the crazy thing. It's real cussing, it's dirty language, it's something that the censors wouldn't allow. They've sold the show into the Czech Republic. And they've dubbed me. So it's like, oh, okay, well what happens when he starts speaking in Czech? So I don't know. Yeah, it is real Czech, and it's real cussing. Check it out on Google.
Okay, this question's for everybody. We asked this last year, and we just need a full set of answers. If you were to get a Stargate-themed tattoo, what would you get and where?
Oh, that's easy.
I'd get Amanda tapping.
Where would you put me?
Right here.
What would you do, Christopher? Stargate themed tattoo. What would you get and where would you put it?
Well, I would have to choose Stargate Atlantis, and I would get a mangina right there.
Oh my goodness! Amanda?
I don't even know how to answer this anymore.
How do you follow?
Stargates right here.
show.
This is what happens when actors take over. There is no moderation.
Oh, are you still here?
I think I'm supposed to babysit, but y'all lost control 20 minutes ago.
My question's for Amanda and David, since you guys both played. It's okay. Since you guys both played scientists/engineers, I'm not sure Samantha Carter really wasn't an engineer. You know, we rock. But sometimes when I'm at work, I find myself saying something, and I'm like, I can't believe I just said that. Is it real? And it is, because I'm an engineer, so not an actress. But do you guys ever say stuff on the set, and you're like, wait, did we just make that up, like flux capacitor, or is that something that's actually real?
We could easily assume that they can reverse engineer their own intergalactic space engine from the wreckage on the sea bottom. Yeah, that one's never going away. Thanks, Martin Giro. Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Don't you remember any of them?
No? Just because my reproductive organs are on the inside. I often wonder if the stuff I said was made up, and so I would research. I'm a geek, proudly. So I would research, and then I would break it down into layman's terms, and then then I'd feel really confident with what I was saying. Although I know that there was just the odd time where the science wasn't 100% correct. But I have to tell you a quick story about, there was a day, a script that we had, I can't remember the script, but there was a mathematical sort of formula in there. And it was to deduce how many people on this planet would die if this thing went off. And I read it and I was like, this is wrong. So I went through this massive mathematical equation. Now, sitting across from me is Jack Osterbeck, who's our craft service first aid guy. And so I'm going through it, and I'm like, no, if R is over pi equals the power of, this is wrong. So I happily march up to Brad Wright's office and say, you know, Brad, I've discovered a mistake. I'm so proud of myself, right? I've become the astrophysicist I was meant to be. And so I march up to Brad's office, and I'm like, Brad, I gotta tell you, like, this is wrong, and here's why. And I start to explain this elaborate mathematical equation, and he goes, wait, whatever, Amanda, just change it. I was like, so it like popped my bubble so completely. So I go back down to my trailer, and Jack is there, and I said, Jack, let me just explain to you how I got this answer. So I go through this massively elaborate an x to the pi and the power of blah, 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 which means that there'd really only be 10,000 people. You get it? And he looked at me and he went like this. I'm pretty.
My question is for all of you. I know I've always heard that actors always talk about how they can place themselves into their characters, they can kind of influence. But I'm curious, has a character that you've ever played, not just Stargate or Sanctuary, has a character ever influenced or changed the way you feel about yourself and your future interactions with people?
That's a good question. Chris?
I'm having my picture taken, I wasn't listening. Was it for me?
It's for all of us.
Oh, no, really? That was a long question. I thought it was for everybody. Was it for me?
It's for all of us.
Okay, you guys answer first, and I'll pick up what the question was.
I'll answer quickly. I would say very much so, and I have to answer with Sam Carter because she informed a great deal. We grew up together. I mean, we came into our own as women together. She informed a huge part of who I am, and I think I informed a huge part of who she became too, but there was a very symbiotic relationship between us. And I feel very strongly that she, the sense of loyalty and the sense of dedication and the sense of hard work and I don't know whether I learned that from her or whether I fed off of it because of her, but definitely she had a huge influence on who I am today. Oh God, here I go.
It is an interesting process because you come as the character and the character is being written by somebody else. The words are being given to you, but they do sort of organically become yourself, and it's amazing. You do sort of become this character that is then a public property. I mean, MGM owns Dr. Zelenka, which is kind of weird, considering that they're bankrupt. No, easy. But yeah, as an actor, to have a character that because you go for auditions and you do lots of different characters, but to have one that becomes sort of over and beyond bigger than yourself, it does feed back to you. It does in a positive way. You realize that what you're doing is sort of something is working, something's going out there. It's an interesting process. Chris?
Well, I've played a number of characters on the show, and I think they're all a part of me. There is a side of me who is extremely kind and loving and caring.
Which side is that?
Sorry.
I can't see it from here.
That's this side, and you can kiss it anytime you want.
He's on fire.
And there's the side who wants to sometimes. This is terrible. Turn the TV off for a second.
It's just between me and you.
Just between you guys, but don't share this with anyone, okay? Don't tell my wife. But there are some times when I would like to take my wife and put her outside the bubble, and so I played that character. So any of you know that can figure it out, otherwise I'm not going to give you any hints. And then there's the side of me who wants to live for 10,000 years and take over the universe.
Who doesn't?
You've already done that, Chris.
Yay, my turn. Going on a more serious note, in each show, Sanctuary, Stargate SG1, as well as Stargate Atlantis, you guys always have hope in the face of desperation. And with your numerous charity works that you've done, especially Amanda, with Sanctuary for Kids, which I want to get involved in. I'm a nurse, so my question is kind of geared towards that. I come into contact with a lot of patients who are basically on their last leg in terms of hope, and how do I kind of help translate the hope that you guys try to put out from the show? How do I translate that and try to imbue that and help them find their spark, or to keep going, so that they're not in for another overdose, or or they're not in for numerous reasons because they're not taking care of themselves.
I think that's a really heady and amazing question, but I think you ultimately, off the top of my head, ultimately you have to believe that your life has meaning, and then you will live your life with meaning. So you have to believe that at some point you're going to do something or influence one person in a positive way. And if you strive or continue to strive to do that, then you're giving your life meaning, and therefore there's always hope. I have watched a couple of very close friends go through terminal illness and subsequently pass away, and the amazing thing towards the end is I did something. I meant something. My life meant something. My death will mean something. There will be an impact. And if that impact is positive, then that's hope, right? Off the top of my head. Like that, I'm gonna cry.
You can't follow up on that.
Well, now I feel awkward with my question after that. My question is for all three of you. Stargate has so many different, and when I say Stargate, I mean all series. It has so many different aspects to it that makes it so wonderful, and I think reaches out to so many people. So I was wondering for each of you, what was your favorite aspect of the series?
Well, I mean, we've gotten into this theme. I think the idea of hope and it's stories for grown-ups, and the thing that science fiction can do is take us over and beyond where we are right now, and the possibilities of what we as a human race can get into. Now, without getting too deep, it really has a strong hold on people. I mean, the imagination and the possibilities that we have, especially in the vast frontiers of space, really is wide open. And Star Trek sort of started that idea that we can be better than what we are down here. And I think that's the real power of the Stargate franchise, and doing it with a sense of humor.
I would say on a more personal level, I would just take away the incredible sense of family that all three shows, 17 years essentially of series television, the friendships and the sense of family and the sense of being part of a really huge community. You can't buy that kind of experience, And the fact that you're all a part of it and we're a part of your community, that's priceless. It's absolutely beautiful. And we'd never, when we started doing Stargate SG1, the pilot, would ever have imagined we'd be standing in a room full of people like you talking about this. It's phenomenal where it has taken us, where we've been able to travel, the people we've been able to meet, and the friendships we've made, and the stories we've heard, the fact that fans have met each other from around the world because of this show.
It's remarkable.
Crazy, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that's what I take away. It's created a wonderful community.
Now you're going to make us cry.
That's my goal.
Word.
This question is for all of you. Being part of such a massive franchise, is there any other franchise you'd have liked to have been part of, or just been involved in?
I'd like to be a part of the Sanctuary franchise. The spin-offs and things like that.
I'd like to be
Doctor Who.
I'd like to be part of the Sanctuary franchise.
There you go.
I would have loved to.
Except for Chris.
Who said that? Firefly is what I would like to. I came across Firefly late in the game. I was visiting one of my best buds, Garwin Sanford. I don't know if you guys know the actor. And I was visiting he and his daughter, and I said, Firefly, what's the deal with this Firefly? I keep going to these conventions, and everyone's going, Firefly, Firefly, Firefly. Going, whatever, what's the big deal? Didn't last. Well, yeah, exactly, right? And so he said, okay, well, here are the DVD. Just take them and watch them. Well, now I know. I mean, it is amazing. It was just, I'm so hooked. So yeah, I would love to have been a part of that. Phenomenal. And then, of course, I could have because there was that redhead on that show that eventually made it onto that AMC show, which, yeah, she's hot. Anyway, that was your question, right? Yeah,
I'd like to have been a part, seriously, of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Maybe I still can. I would like to be the first female doctor.
Okay.
I now have aim and purpose in my life.
This question is for Amanda. Can you talk to us a little bit about Stuck? What inspired you to do such a radically different character, and do you plan to do any more independent movies or characters like that?
Sorry, I'm sorry, honey. I missed the first part of your question.
Can you talk to us about Stuck, the independent movie? Absolutely loved that. It was such a radical difference.
Stuck.
And do you plan to do anything like that again?
Oh, I'd love to, yeah. Stuck came about because of J.R. Bourne and his uncle Lindsay Bourne, who had written it, and J.R. brought me the script and said, will you do this movie with me? We'll shoot it over a weekend. We've got some support with, this other producer, and I loved it. I thought the script was so different from what I was doing, from, playing this straight-laced military astrophysicist to a heroin addict. It was a really nice stretch for an actor.
Not
really not that different, to be honest. And so, it was just that we did a lot of rehearsal. We rehearsed in Lindsay's basement and set up our set. And I mean, it takes place in an elevator, so it was pretty easy to set up a set. But yeah, I would love to do that kind of thing again. It's soul-filling. Robin Dunn and I have been talking about theater and trying to get a play up just to keep working the muscles. You got to keep scaring yourself, otherwise you get bored and complacent. And I think the part of being creative that's so beautiful is scaring the crap out of yourself.
Once a day.
It's called fiber, darling. Just fiber.
First of all, I want to say I'm a huge fan of all you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us in Atlanta. This is awesome. Congratulations on the success with Sanctuary. Great show. I think it's just getting better and better. Atlantis was canceled way before its time. Thank you. Just saying. My question is basically to all of you guys, if they were to come around and offer another chance to go back on and be Sam Carter or take part in Atlantis again, would you guys be on board for that?
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Oh, I guess it's my turn. Oh. Okay, this is for all three of y'all. My question is, what is either the funniest episode you remember filming or the one that got you, like touched you deep down inside and like really got your gut wrenched, I guess you'd say, either from SG1 or Atlantis or even Universe?
For me, the funniest episode was Ergo. Because Dom DeLuise, rest his soul, was just hilarious. And like this improv, he was magical. So shooting that was really fun. The one, yeah.
If you're talking about impact, we can talk about the episode Adrift, where we were suspended with Joe Flanagan on these cranes to simulate the zero-G environment. I was talking about this yesterday. And you have no control. You're like a marionette. Okay, we're in these spacesuits with a ring attached to it. And Martin Wood, bless him, it was said to one of the dolly operators, when they jump over the chasm, I really want you to whip them into the wall as hard as you can. That's exactly what happened. Talk about an impact on the other side. That was my favorite.
There was a double episode where Todd takes over the Daedalus, and he's basically taking Robert Picardo as a prisoner, and he's got him there basically saying he's going to suck the life out of him when he's talking to Shepard and working with Robert. He kept doing these. I don't know if it ended up in the final cut, but he would do this. I would have my, hand on it. Todd would have his hand on his chest, and he was about to suck the life out of him, and Robert's going, and he kept doing this fainting, and he'd fall over, and he was up and down, and it was really hard to keep a straight face.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We have time for about 2 more questions.
Use my microphone to ask a question.
I feel special.
You are.
I was wondering, I know that Sanctuary started off as one of your special projects, and then, Sci-Fi saw it and thought, that's great, we're going to take it over. And it feels like they maybe changed the direction that the storyline you originally had envisioned may have gone to. I was wondering how you feel about that and how might it have been different had you not given it to Sci-Fi?
Well, that's a great question, and Sci-Fi, we are an acquisition for them, so they don't own the show, and they don't necessarily have creative control on the show. They can make suggestions and give us notes, and we will try and endeavor to follow them. When we started going from the web series to the television series, we felt a certain amount of we felt beholden to them, that we ought to take a few more of their notes than perhaps we might have. And so the series, I felt at first maybe homogenized just a little bit in order to placate the masses. And then once we sort of got it back again and sort of said, okay, like it's clearly you're happy with it, so now let's take it in the direction we want to take it. And I feel like we've started to do that in the last couple of years, sort of take the ownership back. And it's not a slight to the network so much because they have been very supportive of us, but they don't own us. We are not a sci-fi original series where they own our show. We are an acquisition for the network and grateful that they've acquired us, but we're also an acquisition in 170 other countries. So we also answer to, you know, many masters and yet none in some, you know, except for, so I think more so it's becoming our show again, as is evidenced by things like a musical episode. Go ahead.
I'm a fan of Pierre Bernard, and I loved seeing him on SG1, and I think you could make him a really cool abnormal on Sanctuary.
What do you say, Pierre? Okay, good.
The question I have is for all three of you. What was the funniest prank that you guys played on someone or had played on yourself?
Oh, the pranks. Oh, I don't even know if I
Talk
can
to
say
Jason
the
Momoa
funniest.
about that one.
Yeah, Christopher Judge duct taping us into our chairs, you know, and leaving us. But the comeuppance was, and I've told this story before, so forgive me if you've already heard it. Christopher Judge is famous for his flatulence, and there was an episode where he had to wear a NASA spacesuit. Full on, and they sealed him into it, and yeah. And we were watching him, and all of a sudden the suit kind of went.
And then he floated.
And then we watched him kind of go ashen, and we were like, yes. Not bad. It wasn't so much a prank as just a joyful moment for everyone.
Hi, this question is for Amanda. Do you like being blonde or brunette better?
You know what? I struggle with that on a pretty regular basis. I am naturally, I do. I know, it's crazy, right?
I do too, I know.
I know you do, I know. I'm naturally blonder than this. I'm naturally blonde, so I actually love being a brunette. I think it's, I don't know, I feel a little sexier somehow. But yeah. But every once in a while I'll see like somebody with really nice blonde hair and go, oh. And my daughter is very blonde. She looks like I did when I was a kid, and so she wishes that I was blonde again. So I don't know. Oh, I know, right? Yeah. But I don't know that it's true that blondes have more fun, because I'm really digging what's going on for me right now. Right.
I guess so.
I have to say, I just had the biggest geek out moment. I just called Amanda, Chris, and David, and they came. I just called you guys up here, and you came. I mean, it's like a geek out moment. You all responded, okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I like that. Yeah, just that one. Okay, so parting words. I mean, you guys, that I'm telling you, y'all just made Dragon Con history. That has never happened.
You guys are awesome.
We love you too!
That was the easiest panel I've ever not moderated. Thank you so much for coming. I know you guys have other things to get to this afternoon, but thank you. I can't say thank you enough. I mean,
Come on down to the Walk of Fame. We'll be there.